That was really something.
So Laporte's got Clark developing etheric weapons for the military. This throws a wrench in Shaw's plans.
How horrible. Instead of something good to benefit humanity, ethericity is being harnessed to produce suffering and death. Perhaps Dr. Clark will be open to the idea of leaving this project for something less distasteful.
Perhaps. But I can't just ask him with his assistant right there. Maybe I can get her to leave the testing chamber so I can have a moment alone with Clark. Hey, can we talk?
Sure. What's on your mind?
Have you been down here long?
About 7 months, I think. Without any sunlight, you really lose all sense of time. Sometimes it feels like decades.
No sunlight? You mean you never go outside?
No, of course not. Is this some kind of test? The terms were made very clear when we signed onto this project. We don't break protocol. I do really miss the sun, though. Sometimes I feel like a mushroom down here.
How did you become interested in etheric research?
I was already a researcher when I met Dr. Clark, but my field was chemistry. I had dabbled some with etheric experiments after hearing about Clark's research. When I saw him at the Lamplight City Expo, I knew I wanted to work with him, despite what happened. After the dust settled, I approached him about taking me on as an assistant. I got the feeling he was just surprised to still have any support.
Don't you ever get bored here?
Sure, all the time. We've got books, but I've read them all. This is my 3rd time through this one. At least this phase of the project's near completion. Maybe we'll get some time up top before the next one.
Never would have dreamed there was a whole secret facility hidden under this rock in the middle of the bay. Who built it anyway?
The military, I guess. Had to be someone with very deep pockets. Everything was already in place before they moved us in.
What are your thoughts on Project Rosewater?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. We're doing important scientific research, I can't deny that. Just because our focus is on weapons doesn't mean our results can't be used for other applications.
How do you like working with Dr. Clark?
It has its moments, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. He gets wound up sometimes, which I understand. But other times he picks strange things to get cross about.
Like what?
Well, his biggest bugbear is food in the testing chamber. I made the mistake of taking my lunch in there once, and he just about had a conniption. Cleanliness is one thing, but this is a whole other level.
So Clark dislikes food in the testing chamber, does he?
Dislikes? More like detests.
Know anything about General Laporte?
I saw him once, right at the start of the project. Didn't talk to him. He seemed kind of intense. He's the one running this show, as far as I can tell. Beyond that, the man's a total mystery.
Okay, see you around.
Bye.
Hey, Nadine. I never would have guessed a place like this existed if we hadn't seen it with our own eyes.
It certainly explains all the stories about strange lights and ghosts. Perhaps the island's reputation was the reason they chose it to house this facility.
Think you can occupy Dr. Clark's attention for a few moments?
I can certainly try. Oh, Doctor, could I have a word?
Yes, what is it?
There. Now to watch the fireworks.
Miss Montgomery, what is the meaning of this? How many times have I said, no food in the testing chamber?
But
I don't want excuses. Clear it out. put away the power cell. Done with testing today.
Yes, Dr. Clark.
I apologize for that, Miss Leger, but I'm very particular about rules.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. This must be the door to Dr. Clark's quarters. Can we talk?
I suppose so.
Just how long have you been working down here?
Good question. It's difficult keeping track of time. We're in September, right?
November, actually.
Oh, then it's been longer than I thought. We came down here in March.
What sparked your interest in etheric research?
I followed Dr. Clark's career from the early days. He was one of the first to begin advancing etheric theory with practical experiments. Not only that, he was getting results. After I graduated from university, I sent him my thesis on the effects of ethericity on plants and animals. I guess that made me one of the few practical researchers out there, too. He wrote back immediately with an offer of employment.
How do you keep from getting bored?
The work is pretty all-consuming, and we don't have much of a social scene down here. Dr. Clark is kind enough to lend us his books to pass the quiet hours.
Do you know who built this place?
I suppose this is an old army base, but Clark's had it fitted with some really state-of-the-art equipment. We're lucky to be so well-resourced.
I was blown away by that demonstration. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Ha. We've been working on it non-stop, but there are a lot of kinks to work out before it'll be field-ready. For instance, we still can't get more than one shot out of each power cell. I suppose in an actual battlefield situation, you'd need to carry around a lot of cells and reload for every shot, like cannonballs. But the power cells are still very difficult to construct, so we only have a few prototypes. We have to recharge them constantly.
How long does it normally take to charge one of the power cells?
Around 6 hours.
Wow.
Wow is right. Joshua hooked one up to the etheric generator and discovered that it charged instantly. But Dr. Clark wasn't happy about it.
Why not?
He said it made the power cell unstable. But we didn't have to wait all day for the next trial, and Joshua was even able to get 2 shots out of that one. The overcharge effect is certainly something we should investigate later.
What was that about a faster way?
Joshua, but Dr.
Between you and me, doesn't it concern you that ethericity is being weaponized?
Not at all. It's a powerful energy source, and this is one of many practical applications.
Sure, but isn't it better to use it for less destructive purposes?
We live in a dangerous world, and these are uncertain times. Other nations probably have their own etheric weaponry development programs underway. If we didn't pursue this research, we'd be falling behind. A new weapon is most useful as a deterrent. Having it in your back pocket means everyone else thinks twice before firing on you. I know Dr. Clark's had some moral reservations about the military applications of ethericity, but he's a professional through and through.
So, what's working with Dr. Clark like?
He's a brilliant man. I learn something new from him every day.
He seems short-tempered.
Well, yes, but that's just the genius mind, isn't it? No room left over for navigating social niceties.
Can you tell me anything about General Laporte?
Not really. I know he's the one overseeing this project, but I've never had the opportunity to speak with him.
I appreciate the chat.
It's nice to have someone new to talk to.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
Just how long have you been down in this facility?
8 months. We've made extraordinary progress, as you can see. I admit, I had some misgivings when I first learned what would be required of us, but it turns out the isolation has done wonders for our productivity.
So who built this whole underground complex anyway? I'm guessing it wasn't always a secret ethericity lab.
I'm not entirely sure. Apart from the additional equipment I specified, everything was already prepared for us when I arrived in El Presidio. General Laporte isn't exactly forthcoming with information he considers irrelevant.
Why did you agree to work on this project?
Why? I just experienced the worst disaster of my life. My work was first ridiculed and then outlawed, and I was exiled to a barren wasteland. The only prospect I could see was to leave the country and start everything over. But then I received General Laporte's offer. I could continue my work in safety and solitude. Everything I needed would be provided. No investors, no reporters, no loonies, no distractions. I'm certain anyone in my position would have jumped at the opportunity.
Who came up with Project Rosewater?
My understanding is that this work is for the benefit of the Vespuccian army. General Laporte is in charge of the project. Everything goes through him. Other than the facility guards, I've had contact with no one else.
How much longer until Project Rosewater is finished?
We're nearing the end of this phase. If all goes well, we should have a stable, fully functioning prototype by the end of the year.
What exactly is the goal of this project?
Well, once the etheric pistol is complete, we'll begin experimenting with larger caliber weapons.
Etheric rifles?
Yes, and whatever else the General sees fit to pursue.
Where does it stop?
You'd have to ask him that question.
How did this project get the name Rosewater?
My idea. Sentimental, really. I suppose I had gotten attached to my dry and dusty little desert lab. After all, Rosewater was my refuge when I lost everything else. I just made an offhand comment to that effect one day while discussing arrangements with the General. And he said, "Well, in that case, why don't you bring Rosewater with you?" When I found out he made that the official title of the project, it made me smile, I'll admit.
Just how did you come to discover the existence of ethericity?
Now that's a story. When I was a boy, I read about the ancient Greeks and their studies of the heavens. Certain texts made obscure references to observations of energy subsisting in the atmosphere, something entirely different from electricity. The idea seized my imagination and sparked my passion for the pursuit of ethericity. I developed an instrument that I called the aetherometer in order to probe the atmospheric potential. Imagine my delight when I discovered that ethericity was in fact real. Unfortunately, the aetherometer has been appropriated by so-called spiritualists who believe they can use it to talk with the dead.
I'd like to know your perspective on the Lamplight City Expo incident.
That was a dark day. Everything I worked for came crashing down in a matter of seconds. Being maligned and ostracized was bad enough, but I can still hear the screams of those 15 poor souls. If anything good can be said to have come from that horrible event, it taught me that nothing in this life is guaranteed.
What inspired you to become a scientist?
Trite as it may sound, I wanted to make the world better. I had a fortunate birth. My parents were able to pay for my studies in Paris, which is where I earned my doctorate in physics. But even as a boy, I still saw plenty of terrible things going on around me. Others seemed not to see, but I did. Upon my return to Vespuccia, I began teaching and conducting independent research. My only explicit goal was to make some sort of discovery or development that would serve the advancement of mankind. I would like to believe I've achieved that.
Do you know much about General Laporte?
Not a great deal, no. I only met him when he summoned me to El Presidio. We speak occasionally, but only about professional matters. Just as well, I suppose. His interests don't align particularly well with mine.
So your relationship is purely professional?
It's an acquaintanceship at best.
Dr. Clark, there's something I need to tell you. We're not really from General Laporte's press corps.
What? Who are you then?
Some folks who are hired by D.W. Shaw to come find you.
The head of Vespuccia Petrol.
The very same.
What does she want with me?
She wants you to help her company pivot from oil to ethericity.
How does she intend to circumvent the ban?
She seems to think it'll be lifted soon. Or that she can influence things in that direction.
So she would have me work for VP to generate etheric energy for widespread use?
As an alternative power source, yes. It might even replace coal and oil someday.
Well, that's certainly more appealing than weaponry. But extreme arrangements have been made to develop this project in secret, and at considerable expense, I'm sure. It's not the sort of thing one can just walk away from.
You'd prefer your research be used to find new ways to kill people?
No, but
Look, I understand. You suffered a terrible setback after the expo. I'm sure it must have been hard. You probably felt like nobody would ever take you seriously again.
You have no idea.
I do know that if I were in your shoes, I'd have probably grabbed onto any lifeline. But I can tell your heart's not really in it, especially knowing what it is you're building.
Yes, well...
So you're gonna squander this opportunity to do some real good in the world because you're afraid of a stuffy old general?
You're right, Miss Leger. This isn't about me. This is about humanity. I'll come with you. But... oh goodness. How shall we... We need to do this discreetly. My assistants can't know what's going on. I'm going to my quarters to settle some things. Excuse me.
You certainly have a way with words, Harley.
That's why I try and get paid for them. The lab assistant's desk. So this is Project Rosewater. Let's hope nobody notices this is missing. Locked. Got it. I'm sure they won't miss just one power cell. Or maybe they will. Either way, I've got one now. Some kind of little oven for heating. This thing isn't. Flashing lights and other. Looks like some demented puzzle box. It appears to be a charging device. I can't charge that. There, it's charging. I think. I can't charge it. I can't charge. Drat. There, it's charged. This thing is a couple of wires from that. I can't charge it. I can't charge. I can't charge. I can't charge. The only thing I can load this pistol with. I can't charge. I can't. Can we talk?
I suppose.
What was that about a faster way to charge the power cells?
Joshua figured out that hooking the power cell to the etheric generator, but Dr. Clark discouraged it because it makes the power cell unstable.
What was that?
Joshua figured out that hooking the power cell to the but Dr.
I appreciate.
It's nice.
This doesn't seem to have charged at all. There's nowhere to plug the... This seems like a good place to attach the wires. Here we go. Hope this works. Wow, it charged up almost instantly. Locked and loaded.
Ah, hello. I'm just leaving a note for my assistants.
Explaining why you're giving them the slip?
I feel I owe it to them.
Might I borrow your screwdriver, Dr. Clark?
By all means.
Dr. Clark?
Yes, what is it?
So how do we make our escape without alerting your assistants?
First things first. We need to call the elevator so we have a way out. But we also need to find a way to disable the communications relay. Otherwise, the alarm will be raised and they'll catch us in no time.
So how can we call the elevator?
Good question. It requires a 4-digit code. To my knowledge, the only people who know it are General Laporte and the guard upstairs.
Too bad I didn't think to ask what it was before getting rid of him.
Without that code, we are stuck.
I'll figure something out. So how can we call...
Good question. It requires a...
Too bad I didn't...
Without...
Could you explain this communications relay thing?
Of course. Next to the elevator, there's a device we can use to contact the person standing guard upstairs. It's mainly for emergency use. If the guard doesn't respond after a time, the wires relay the signal to Laporte's office.
So we need to disable it to keep Laporte from suspecting anything.
Precisely.
Something I've been wondering about.
When
we first started looking for you, the idea was floated, let's say, that you had a stash somewhere of cash left over from investments in your research that had to be concealed once the work became illegal. Is there any truth to that notion?
You're asking me to tell you if I have a secret hidden fortune.
Well, I don't expect you to tell me where or hand it over or anything. I'm just burning to know if there was really anything to the rumor at all, or if it was all just dust and fairy tales.
What do you think?
Call me a romantic, but I just have a feeling there's more to this story. You strike me as a man who might have some tricks up his sleeve, and 1 or 2 secrets. Did you know that a group of ethericity worshippers flocked to your old lab and set up a commune there?
My lab in Rosewater?
Yup. We met them when we went there looking for clues as to your whereabouts. They picked everything clean. Built a kind of museum to you and your work.
I had no idea, but my work always attracted strange sorts. Curious gawkers would show up now and again, hoping to catch a glimpse of something spectacular, or the angry bereaved, threatening vengeance for the victims of the disaster. It's been quite a relief not having to worry about all that down here.
That commune by your lab, they're from a religious movement calling themselves the Luminarians. They believe a whole bunch of gobbledygook about glowing people who live in the ether, and people who die from ethericity being really lucky because they go to etheric heaven or something. And they like to paint shadows and butterflies all over everything for some reason. They also think you're some sort of saint or prophet, and there's a mural with a painting of you looking like you're going through this kind of portal in space and talking to some glowy angel alien creatures.
Wow.
I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
It's the communications relay. We need to disable it before getting Clark out of here. I don't see any screws, and stabbing it... I don't see... It's... This contraption... There we go. That was it. I figured out the code. The elevator's ready to be called.
Wonderful. Let's be going then.
Not just yet. I need to take care of the communications relay.
The what?
That contraption on the wall there. Clark said we need to disable it before we leave. Stand back. I'm taking this thing out.
Whoa!
I thought the plan was to do this discreetly.
Desperate times and all that. Now come on, let's get out of here.
You're taking the prototype, I see. Wait, where did you get a charged power cell? We only charged one up, and we used it in the demonstration.
I hooked this one up to the etheric generator.
You what? That's incredibly dangerous. That kind of unfiltered surge would leave the power cell completely unstable. Unless it's discharged within the next, 20 minutes. It will explode.
We'll have to worry about that later. Let's get back topside before your assistants figure out what's going on.
If that power cell starts glowing white, you had better let me know quick.
After you, Doctor.
Hold it right there.
Have a nice nap? I was hoping it'd last longer.
Shut up. Hand over your weapons and come with us. There's someone wants to see you.
Taking some air, Dr. Clark? Kindly stand over there if you would. You three, up against the wall.
She had this funny pistol on her.
Ah, there it is. Can't let this fall into the wrong hands, can we? Now, have you got anything to say for yourself?
How did you know we were here?
I had you followed after our encounter at the Jolly Good Club. You thieves are all the same.
We are not thieves.
No? You raided my supply wagon, broke into my private room, took my key card from my safe, and stole my etheric pistol. If you're not thieves, you should consider taking it up. You're naturals.
We were tasked with finding Dr. Clark. Everything we did was necessary to that end.
Now, I hardly think that's true. It's clear to me you've no idea what you've stepped into. So, who put you up to this?
This was all D.W. Shaw's scheme. She asked us to fetch Dr. Clark.
Curious. What would an oil tycoon want with an etheric scientist? I'll have to pay her a visit and ask. We've chatted long enough.
General, what are you doing?
Conducting my own test, Doctor. It's time to see if your prototype really works.
Not so fast, Laporte. I would strongly advise you not to fire that pistol.
And just who in blazes are you?
Timothy King, representing D.W. Shaw and Vespuccia Petrel.
Speak of the devil.
I'll have to insist you stop interfering with our agents and let them go.
You can't be serious.
I am.
Boys, take care of this louse.
Stand down, pendejo!
Well, we've got all kinds coming out of the woodwork tonight. And who might you be?
Lieutenant General Marisol de la Vega. You must be General Laporte.
Seems you new Spanish revolutionaries are much cleverer than I was led to believe.
General Marquez assigned me to trace the suspicious shipments of Aurum passing through Fort Beaumont. The trail led here. Where is General Marquez?
He didn't make it. He gave his life defending us from Laporte's hired thugs.
What? No way. Can it be?
I tried to save him, but he was too badly wounded. I'm so sorry.
Laporte sent the Blackburns to ambush us. He's responsible for Phil's death.
I gotta put a bullet in your head, Laporte.
Do so, and you'll receive one in kind. That goes for Mr. King as well.
It would seem we have reached an impasse.
Not quite.
Jake?
I knew he'd be back!
Mr. Ackerman, I presume?
That's right. And you are?
General William Laporte.
Well, now we're acquainted, we can get to business. Harley, can you and the others step aside, please?
What are you doing, Jake?
What I should have done back at the wagon. Now move. General Laporte, I challenge you to a gentleman's duel.
Oh, please. Is the sad old washed-up cowboy that desperate for one last chance at glory?
No. He's looking for one last chance to do right by his friends. Now draw.
You picked the wrong man to duel, Laporte.
We'll see about that.
3, 2, 1.
Jake!
No!
Hands up, cobarde!
Miss Leger, are you unharmed?
I think so. You all right, Danny?
Yeah.
I can't believe... Guess deep down you were a hero after all.
Let's get off this rock, shall we?
Thanks for your help back there, Lieutenant General.
You are welcome.
For what it's worth, I'm sure General Marquez would be proud to know you're leading the revolution now.
News of his death will be a great blow to morale, but we will carry on the fight in his name. He was an inspiration to us all. At the very least, the revolution can make use of the aurum stored on the island, now that the man who conspired to steal it is dead.
Technically, that aurum was government money and belongs to the people of Vespuccia. But as a citizen of this country, I say, have it, with my blessing. Viva la revolucion!
Gracias. We have a difficult path ahead of us, but I have hope.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Miss Leger.
We're back, ma'am.
I assume everything has been taken care of?
All loose ends have been tied.
Splendid. Send them in. You've no idea how pleased I am at your success. It's good to finally make your acquaintance, Doctor. I am D.W. Shaw.
The pleasure is all mine, madame.
We have much to discuss. First, I must conclude my business with Miss Leger and her companions.
Of course.
You've been through a great deal. I cannot thank you enough.
We were almost killed, you know.
I imagined it would be a dangerous undertaking. Yet here you stand before me. I won't keep you any longer. Here is your payment. Mr. Ackerman was promised 25,000, but considering all your trouble, I've increased it to 27. I'm sure you'll find it easier to divide.
Thank you, Mrs. Shaw.
Pleasure doing business with you. Before you go, I made some inquiries and learned a few rather compelling things about General Laporte. I could share the information if you like.
Go on, then.
It seems General Laporte was a staunch supporter of Mr. Atwood's trade party, quite vocal about his desire for the advancement of steam tech and etheric research. There were also rumours that he held some more controversial opinions regarding this country's sovereignty.
He was a separatist?
Apparently so.
You think Project Rosewater was meant to arm some kind of etheric revolution?
I am merely relaying the information I've learned. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. The only person with knowledge of Laporte's motives is the man himself.
And that information died with him. Well, with him gone and the prototype pistol destroyed, whatever plans he had can't come to fruition.
For now, yes. But I can tell you one thing about this world. It is rare that one accomplishes anything of note alone.
We should get back to our hotel. It's been a long night.
Indeed. Goodbye, Miss Leger. I hope you and your friends enjoy the rest of your time in El Presidio.
And thank you, Miss Leger. I appreciate your facilitating this new opportunity.
Best of luck to you, Dr. Clark. This was all very enlightening. So, what are you two planning on doing next?
I'm honestly not sure. But I think I will apply for a medical license after all. I may go back to the San Bernardo Valley, or I may stay here on the coast. It's something I'll have to discuss with Lola.
What about you, Danny?
I'm not really sure. Suppose it wouldn't be such a bad idea to visit my folks. It's been too long. After that, guess I've got to find a new line of work.
What about you, Harley?
Suppose I'll head back to Rosewater. I've got an article to write after all.
And I guess this is goodbye.
This is where we part ways, for now. But you know where to find me. And you can be damn sure I'll write back. I'll see you both around. It was a real pleasure traveling with you.
So long.
Goodbye, Harley.
I'm back.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Did I miss anything while I was gone?
Let's see. There was a dust devil by the saloon that nearly knocked Sheriff Gamble's hat off.
Front page news, then.
Seriously, though, I spoke with the leader of the Autumn. She gave me some good stuff. The article runs next week. What of your great adventure?
Concluded now. But I've got plenty of material for an article. Maybe even 5.
And you'd best get to it. Better to jot everything down while it's still fresh.
Right you are, boss. They say the end of every journey marks the beginning of another. If there's any truth to that, this writer hopes the next one is decidedly duller. My companions and I set out from Rosewater and traveled across the Vespuccian frontier, encountering bandits, rebels, visionaries, eccentrics, and many more friends and foes. We were led to believe that our quest was for Dr. Bennett Clark's missing fortune, but as it turned out, we were on the trail of the very man himself. The following is an account of that journey, with no detail spared, no fact left unrelated. And so at the journey's end, you may ask yourself, dear reader, what of the main players in this saga? Danny went home to a happy reunion with his parents. He says he's hung up his pistols and retired from gunslinging, with the intent of pursuing a culinary career. I said I'd be a regular if he ever opened a restaurant. I shall have to honor that promise should it come to pass. Nadine Redbird has begun the process of obtaining her medical license. She tells me she plans to convert Lola Johnson's wagon into a kind of mobile clinic, traveling the frontier helping those in need. It will be a welcome change from the usual traveling merchants hawking miracle cures. I can think of no one more qualified to dispense medical care. As for Miss Johnson, this new business venture will hopefully be more to her liking. At the very least, she now sets her own course, rather than bending to the whims of her clients. Miss Johnson and I never much saw eye to eye. She probably wouldn't even have liked me writing that, come to think of it. Still, it's reassuring to know that she has found some happiness with Nadine. I would be remiss to neglect mentioning our dearly departed friend. Phil Marquez was a great man. He was always true to himself, cared for those around him, and was just plain fun to be around. I will forever cherish the time I had with him, and I will carry his memory in my heart for the rest of my days. Naturally, I cannot fail to comment on Gentleman Jake Ackerman, the man who set this whole adventure in motion. My relationship with Jake could best be described as complex. While I never found myself taken with his tales, he seemed to me a genuine hero. That illusion was shattered when we were ambushed by Blackburn agents on the way to El Presidio. Jake disgracefully turned and fled, leaving us to face the ruthless barbarians on our own. However, he proved his true heroism when he returned in another moment of need. Jake bravely gave his life to save us from the wicked machinations of General Laporte. The etheric blast burned his shadow on a nearby wall, which has since become a monument to his bravery. I am told that it is visited daily by Jake's fans, admirers, and the odd curious traveler. In death, Jake managed to achieve the status of legendary hero he so craved. As for Dr. Clark, he seems happy in his new employment at Vespuccia Petrol. I can only hope his contributions to Mrs. Shaw's enterprise offer greater balm to the restless, inventive mind than the manufacture of apocalyptic weaponry. That, dear readers, is the long and the short of it. This was an adventure unlike any other I've been on. I doubt any other will ever compare. Whew, my hand hurts. We'll see what Joni has to say about this in the morning. Well, what do you think?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, of course I do.
It's good. Very good. It's great, actually. There's just no way on God's green earth we can print this.
Why not?
Secret underground laboratories. Government conspiracies, special projects to develop etheric weapons. No one will believe a word of it. Not to mention you name some very powerful and important people who'd have me locked up for libel with a snap of a finger.
So what do you suggest I do?
I'm thinking perhaps you can repurpose it.
Come again?
This story's got everything. Adventure, mad scientists, conspiracies, betrayals. Folk could pay through the nose to read this. If it were a novel.
Novel?
Sure. All you have to do is change the names, do a little narrative restructuring. You can even say it's based on actual events. That way we're off the hook if anyone's feathers get ruffled. What do you think?
A whole book, huh?
Trust me, I have a nose for these things. This one smells like a hit. You're sitting on a pile of aurum.
All right. I'll do it.
Excellent. Now all we need's a title.
That's your job, isn't it?
Suppose it is. It needs to be something catchy. Something simple yet evocative. Something like...
Dime qué me haré sin tu amor, flor silvestre. Si los días no me pertenecen desde que crucé tu jardín. Si tu aroma mi alma carece, pierdo el deseo de vivir. Y cuando volveré a en mis brazos tenerte. Si estando libre tú eres feliz, cuando nadie tu paso detiene, la distancia no se compadece de estos ojos que sufren por ti. Y vivo la ilusión de que un día regreses. Entre abrazos y caricias confieses que no hay vida sin mí. Y dime qué me haré sin tu amor, flor silvestre. Si los días no me pertenecen desde que crucé tu jardín, si tu aroma mi alma carece, pierdo el deseo de vivir.
If you're serious about joining, you'll observe the customs. Also, it's an adventure game, that's why. Click on me. Click on me again. Ouch, stop clicking on me. If you would just stop clicking on me, I would tell you what to do next. Ooh, that felt good, though. Not there. Don't click there. This is not a mature-rated game. Okay.
She is atrocious, and I adore her.
We get 28 again. Yes, she's the captain, not me anymore.
What kind of neighborhood do you live in?
Fuck you, bitch! Right? I'm just saying what we're all thinking. Jeez! I need double scale for this. It's too much PTSD.
I swear the man changes his mind more often than most change their bitches. I swear the man changed their bitches. Oh, man. Yo, what's up? Got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't a one. Anyway.
Ethericity always fascinated me. Am I saying that right? Ethericity?
You are the first person to get it right on the first try.
Yes. And I ruined the take. Awesome. All right.
Lavender thyme hand soap. No parabens, gluten-free, moisturizing and hydrating formula. This hand soap delicately soothes and perfumes the skin. It leaves the skin feeling clean and soft. And the directions are, you dispense a button-sized drop into your hands, work into a lather, smooth over skin. Then you rinse with water. Oh, what great directions those are.
You can't just go in there without a ticket. Dumbass.
I have a feeling there's something important in there. No shit, Harley, you dumbass. Okay.
I'm afraid I don't know much about them, just that they have a small village somewhere in the valley. It's next to Encino. That's a local joke.
Patrick will follow in his father's footsteps and make a fine ranger someday. He too will die and leave behind a widow, as is traditional.
It needs to be something catchy, something simple yet evocative. Something like... Yeah, something like that.
This guy's fun. Oh no, this guy's fun. He might get horrible, but the way that he's so manipulative and awful, I find it entertaining.
And this is the Global Script.
Global Script, 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 Global Script. Woo-wee! Sorry.
Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script.
Global Script, Global Script. I'm enjoying the difference between the version with the two words separated and then just squished together.
He wandered off into the desert. Wow, wicked had, kid.
You have to imagine the invisible lines of power radiating out all around it. I've gone quite mad. It's a metaphor, darling, for me. Me and my invisible lines of power.
Evocator. All right. It's not Chumley. It's not just a giant pile of consonants. It's okay.
Yay. All right. Oh, the next line is yay. That's exactly how I feel. Excellent. All right. Method. All right. Sorry. So.
I ain't interested in any flag that hasn't got a skull and crossbones on it. Blah. After all, there's no way you could have gotten down here without General Laporte's authorization, right? Or is this an adventure game, and you definitely got down here without General Laporte's authorization? Oh gosh, my life is it's a lie!
Besides, I don't think they've yet written a statute outlawing vexatiousness. I am a writer. Have some 5-crown words while we're at it. Good sir, I have a liberal arts degree. I'm not to be trifled with. Dialogue 15. Ah, I hit my thing. You're okay. You're okay. I'm normal. I'm a normal person.
Get on with it, mustache wax. Sorry.
I appreciate you must have many questions, Miss Leg. Is it Legger or Ledger? Leger. Ooh la la.
You left me dying in the street.
Yeah, sorry, lying.
Oh, did I say dying? Wow, I took that dark, didn't I? Let's try that again.
I see. Excuse me, little frog. Little frog. Morning voice. Ragweed season. Every year I'm like, why am I dying? And it's the same plant. Pardon the death metal noise. Hold on. Are there monsters in this game? That's a shame.
Yeah, so Bridge Guy's easy. He's probably the most cartoony of all the characters. He's just a wacky old coot that's hanging out near a collapsed bridge. So if you want to go full, like, old prospector...
Oh, thank God it's my chance. All right.
I'm sure it's the role you've been waiting.
I hate you both. All in the world that I have. This is all that I have. This misshapen pile of stones. A place for the abandoned and bereft. A monument to my folly. I think this is a better choice. You want to start over? You speak of horses when I have been spurned by a goddess. Yeah, let's go with this. I've spoken to your money people, and they prefer this. Quieren esto, mijo.
Did that make sense if your water runs red sometimes? Did that read okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say maybe one more take.
All right. What is the sense of that?
That's leaky like he's crying, but your well water runs red if you punched him and he's bleeding.
Oh, okay.
You're one of the few people that got Vespuccia right on the first try also.
Vespuccia.
Ah, my old diary. I was going to say, wow, see, where are the cows?